location in Atlantic Beach, South Carolina for an annual event called Black Bike Fest. Hundreds of thousands of black bikers here ready to have a good time and to spend big money. So why aren't they better received? I'm here to try and find out. And good evening, everyone. I'm Art Fennell, and as always, I'm glad that you are here with me. Here, in this case, is Atlantic Beach, South Carolina, a small coastal community just down the ocean front from the far more popular Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. But this event is called Bike Fest, aka the Black Bikers Week. This is an annual event. Some 27 years they've been doing it now, and each year it gets bigger and bigger. They now roll into this small little town, some 300,000 to 400,000 bikers each year. But this event is not without its share of controversy. There are some people in these neighborhoods that just don't want to see these black bikers here. We'll talk about that and try and get to the bottom of these issues, and believe me, there are many of them. We'll also look at the history of Myrtle Beach versus Atlantic Beach. Myrtle Beach, as you well know, is thriving. Atlantic Beach is not. We'll try and find out why. And since this is a bike festival, we'll talk to the people at Harley-Davidson and get their take on their involvement in all of this. But first things first, since this is Black Bikers Week, let's talk about the history of the black bikers and the beach. Bike Week isn't without its thrills and theatrics. Some of these riders are professional crowd pleasers. But the overwhelming majority of these bikers are just recreational riders. They come to the Carolina Grand Strand from all across the country on all kinds of bikes, different sizes, different makes, different colors. But these bikes all have at least one thing in common. They're loud. The problem starts there. These bikers roar through these streets with power and pride. These are mostly speed bikes, ridden by mostly young black men, with scantily dressed female passengers who obviously enjoy the breeze. They call them riders. But there are plenty of female bikers too. The bikers sport their colors from the clubs that they're members of, organized riding clubs mostly. That's the next problem, because you see, those who don't know better around here think that these young black men are from gangs. And if they're from a gang, then they must be dangerous and they must be violent. The bikers certainly resent that.
This is a once-a-year thing, and we come down here and just show off our bikes, just have fun. Not to cause trouble, to show off our bikes.
And you think that's the way it should be, right?
Well, this is a form of transportation, and we got to obey the laws, and we do that, and should have no problems, you know. But
yeah,
all the extra bars and security and road closing. I mean, the other bike fest was just down here, what, last weekend? They didn't do all this for them.
So are you a little resentful over that because it's like a tale of two different bike fests?
That's how it is.
Another issue is their impact on the local economy. Over the Memorial Day weekend, many of the white shop owners and restaurants have traditionally closed their doors to shopping and not operated on what should have been one of their biggest selling periods of the year. They cited the massive traffic tie-ups as the main reasons why. But the NAACP didn't buy that. They called it discrimination. They sued and they won to make these establishments open their doors again. This putt-putt park stays open, but Karen Cook, the manager here, who wouldn't let me interview her on camera, told me that the bikers are bad for business. She says they eat cheaply and they run off the steady-paying tourists. So I talked to a few of those tourists to see just how they feel about the bikers. You came all the way from Illinois to be here for this weekend. Are you regretful that you came?
I'm very glad we came. We've been here all week. We didn't know that there was another bike week going to go on this weekend, but we were aware that we'd be here for the last couple days of bike week last weekend. But, I mean, everybody's having fun.
Yeah.
To each their own.
Well, I could see where some people can get overwhelmed by all the people and, traffic and stuff like that, but no, we don't have a problem with that. It's going to be fun.
If you had known that there would be this many bikes down here, would you have come all the way from Detroit?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Still would have come?
Oh, yeah, it doesn't bother us. It's just, like, the whole time. So it's just weird, different.
This is our culture.
Irene Armstrong is the mayor of Atlantic Beach. She strongly defends her turf as well as this festival of bikers.
With the cutting of this ribbon, the bike festival is officially open.
Mayor Armstrong says there's too much history here, too much economical value, too much culture, and too much fun to let the critics rain on her people and her festival.
I would say to you that I doubt very seriously that those folks are at Atlantic Beach, in the town of Atlantic Beach, because the property owners and those who benefit from Bike Fest in Atlantic Beach can certainly tell you that it certainly helps them to pay their property taxes, which Atlantic Beach has the highest second millage in the county. So that tells you that our property taxes here are high. So whenever a property owner can rent their property for one time a year and make anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000, they have paid their property taxes.
But yet, in terms of how some of the bikers are treated when they come to this area, not specifically Atlantic Beach,
Definitely not
Myrtle
Atlantic Beach,
North Myrtle Beach, throughout this region, some of them haven't been treated very favorably. And yet the NAACP came in and said that we understand that something needs to change. And just give me your thoughts on when that was happening.
You know, I can only speak to how they're treated here in Atlantic Beach, but I will say further that, you know, you have to realize that this is a state that have not really taken well to change whenever change looks like you and myself. So much of this is white oriented, and you have to know that this is what it is. And
the racial tone can't be ignored here.
Exactly.
Mayor Armstrong says the bottom line is this. She says there are no more challenges in staging this event than staging any other event by any other group anywhere else in the country. I also mentioned that